If you're a deconstructing Christian and you're still worried about the what ifs, key to unlocking and letting go of that fear is understanding the Bible and its history. Let's do that. First, we'll start that with the angels. In very, very, very early versions of the Hebrew Bible, the angels didn't have names. It was later on that they got their names. And the names are Michael, which at the root translates to Mikael, which is who is like God. Then you've got Raphael, which is Raphael, which translates to God heals. Got Gabriel, which is God is my strength. You've got Azazel, which is strength of God. And Remiel, which is mercy of God. Now, what do all of those angels have in common? All end in El, E-L. El is the original God. Now, some might argue that El is just the Hebrew word for God, and that's a fair argument. Before Yahweh, there was El. El was the chief god of the Canaanite people. They had a whole pantheon. El had a wife whose name was Asherah. Baal was the storm and fertility god, and Anat was the warrior goddess. But guess who else was in that pantheon? Yahweh. And the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was El Shaddai, not Yahweh. El was represented by a bull, and the bull was representative of the divine kinship between El and Baal. Remember when the Israelites were making the golden calf while Moses was on Mount Sinai? They were making a golden calf representing El. The earliest Israelite religion from about 1200 to 1000 BCE, there's no evidence that Yahweh was the Most High God. He was a part of the pantheon, believed to be a Midianite storm deity. And Yahweh was one of the sons of El. See this represented in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It says, when Elyon divided the nations, he gave the people to the sons of El. Yahweh's portion was Israel. So El, the Most High God, assigned Yahweh to rule over Israel. And some of the oldest Hebrew poetry shows Yahweh coming from outside of Israel. So in the Israelite religion, Yahweh had a wife who was also Asherah, so it mirrors the Canaanite El and his consort. Also, don't forget in Psalm 82, God is arguing with the other gods when he takes his place among the council of El. Why did the Israelites adopt Yahweh as their main god over El? It's because El was kind of a more distant, far removed God. He was more gentle, maybe more fatherly, and Yahweh was a warrior God. They needed a warrior God to invigorate the people. And when Jerusalem fell and the temple was burned, the perfect explanation for that is that Yahweh allowed it to happen because they were worshiping false gods, other gods. So evidence suggests that the name Yahweh isn't rooted in Hebrew, likely came from Midian, Edom, or Seir, not the Canaanite or Hebrew-speaking highlands. Israelites adopted the name, which indicates the storm deity. It's like he who strikes, he who blows. There's even some clues that this wasn't an original Hebrew word because you're not supposed to say it. That's why it often gets replaced with Adonai. In writing, it's reduced to YHWH. Later, it comes to mean the one who is, he who exists. It becomes I am that I am. So remember how we talked about Yahweh originating in Midian. Midian is where Moses goes and meets his wife. Midian is where Moses encounters the burning bush. His father-in-law, Jethro, is already worshiping Yahweh at that time in Midian, which just proves that originally Yahweh was not Israel's God. Again, it boils all down to mythology and language. Yahweh didn't rise because he was the real one true God. He rose because he was needed in a time of chaos and strife and upheaval and war. And just like he evolved from El, Jesus comes along, also becomes God, and then Christianity rolls up the whole thing in a nice tiny bow. You dig into the real history and the mythology, understanding the linguistics of how the words evolved and how they come to be, the whole truth of it kind of falls apart, don't you think? Just a thought. Also, who wants to talk about how the angels were non-binary? Because I have a whole bunch of ideas on that as well.